Welcome to Inside the Creative Mind podcast, where we dive into the brilliant, the bold, and sometimes slightly unhinged world of creativity, from musicians, painters, and actors, to comedy and beyond. We spotlight those chasing inspiration. Got a story? Visit in-tunemedia.com to apply. Now let's welcome our occasionally humorous and slightly handsome host, Brian Jones.
Welcome back to Inside the Creative Mind with Brian Jones. Today, we are heading back into the world of heartfelt storytelling and authentic country music with singer and songwriter Deena Maddox. Deena stepped away from music but has found her way back, and she brings honesty, passion, and real-life experience into every song she writes. Deena, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
We're so excited to have you. I was kind of reading in your bio, and we've talked kind of offset before about your journey into music, and something struck me is because you didn't really start playing the guitar till you were like 18.
Mm-hmm.
And before I get to my question, I was thinking back to my own youth. And I remember I talked my mom into buying me this keyboard because I'm a keyboard player, but I didn't want to take lessons. I just wanted the keyboard to mess around with it. I was like 8 years old. And so she bought it for me and she was like, but now you got to take lessons. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to commit. But yeah, 16 years of lessons later, here I am. But going back to you, so you started at 18. I would think, and maybe I'm wrong, that that's a little late in life to maybe start playing the guitar or whatever instrument. What first pulled you into music, and what made you pick up the guitar at 18?
So, my dad was always into music. He was a really big concert goer and then also set up stages for concerts. But what got me into it is I started playing violin in 4th grade. I was already in choir, so I was doing a lot of that stuff prior. I did have some Spanish guitar lessons in 4th, 5th, 6th grade is when they allowed that. But to really, really commit to guitar and all that, I wanted to make my own music. So I say 18 because that's when I actually started learning chords and really trying to make my own music.
I see.
And
was there a specific moment when you knew that this was something you had to pursue, or was that a little later in life?
I've always wanted to do it. I think since I was a little girl, just making up lyrics while I was walking through our on our property and everything, I was doing that from the beginning, and it's always been something that has been a part of me. So I think, yes, do I have a specific time? Probably not, but it's been something that I've always wanted to do. And just, with time and how life gets, sometimes it seemed so realistic. And then other times it was okay, I need to step back and figure something out.
Was there, I can remember in my youth and when I was playing in bands, there were certain bands and that I was just, I wanted to be John Bon Jovi, at that time. And obviously that didn't work out. But were there certain bands or groups that you were listening to at that time?
Yeah, at 18, I was listening to, so it was Sublime, RX Bandits, Modest Mouse.
That's surprising.
The Mars Volta. Yeah, and I grew up with country. So country, was always a part of me too. It never, dawned on me that country should be the direction. Actually, I had no direction when I was making music. I was like, I can just do whatever, please, just add me to it. That's what I wanted to do. And as I've grown up and kind of figured out who I am as a person, and it took me a while. I'm 37 now, about to be 38. So when I decided to go back into this, I had a direction. I knew where I wanted to be, and country music was already part of my soul. So it was just I mean, Johnny Cash, you have all of these beautiful musicians that have conducted the person that I am today. So really, I can't say it Willie Nelson. There's so many.
Yeah.
I can name so many because I listened to so much music that I didn't really know. But when I decided to make this part of my career again, I was country is the way that I wanted to be. Didn't matter what music. I still listen to Led Zeppelin. I still listen to Pearl Jam and everything else because that's part of me as well. But I really wanted to get back to my roots and really from the beginning, I've always been told that, or not told, but people have asked me, "So you're a country artist?" And I was like, "Well, I wouldn't define myself. I don't know my genre. I
Yeah.
just make music, you know."
Don't
So
label me.
yeah, and especially at a younger age, that's exactly how it was. Because
Yeah.
if you listen to any music that I did prior to this whole comeback, it was pop music, it was acoustic, uh,
Mhm.
just different indie style kind of music with my accent anyway. So I
Mhm.
think that's why people were like, "Are you country?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm not
I just
trying to
I
be,
just
but
make
yeah, I probably
music. I
sound
just make
country.
music. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
funny because when you travel anywhere, and my wife, she's from like 2 towns over, and she sounds really country to me.
Yeah.
But I'm not, like, from the Midwest. I guess I'm from more up north, and so I sound a little more weird to her, and she's like, "You got a weird accent." I'm like, "You got a weird accent." And I think it's just kind of wherever you are, and you can
Mhm.
go one state over and sound completely different than everybody. Speaking of that, so your journey kinda took you from Texas to Wyoming to California before you landed in Las Vegas. So how
Mhm.
did those different places shape your sound and identity as an artist? I'm sure they all contributed something.
Absolutely. So with Texas, I was surrounded by a lot of musicians that were like into they were doing really, really good stuff. Like I would say more of the Mars Volta kind of thing. There's Hydra Melody. I grew up with that whole band. They're really, really great guys, and they've done a great job at their career. But for me, I didn't know where I was going with it, and when I moved to Wyoming, I kind of like changed the sound a little bit more acoustic because it was just me. I didn't have a band. I've never actually worked with a full band before until
Mhm.
this is coming up. I'm gonna be doing that anyway, but,
That's exciting.
uh, yeah, it was really great, and what changed when I went to California is the producers I was working with, there were a lot of rappers around at the time,
Mhm.
a lot of pop artists and musicians, so it kinda changed into that because of who I was surrounded with, and then when I came out here, I was pretty alone and just kind of getting on a foundation to where I could work with music, and then it just took a turn to where I decided to go back to school, so it was it was just like a whole thing,
Do you
but
do you
my
think of all those locations, there was, like, one specific spot that maybe impacted you the most creatively or felt like home the most? Or because when you talk about your listening genres, I mean, you're all over the place with, like, Pearl Jam. I mean, you sound like me. I kinda listen to everything. People
Mm,
will come on the show and they're like, I'm a country artist, and I'm like, "I listen to country," or, "I'm a classical pianist, I listen to that too," I just like all kinds of music, but do you think
same.
there was, like, one particular state where you resided that really felt like home?
Texas. Texas will
Texas.
always be home to me.
Yeah.
I cannot like, growing up there with not just the country, but, like, all the different types of rock music and hip hop and everything and rap. I mean, it does have, like, a melting pot of music there that
Mhm.
you can go anywhere, and it's there's very alternative sides to it, and I have friends that are doing so much with it, like Honey Bunny. Honey Bunny is
Mm.
one that they're all over the place. They do cover, but they also have their own amazing genre. Like I don't know how to define their music, but it's amazing. Like,
Mhm.
it just has so much to it. And for me, yeah, Texas. Texas was home and will always be home. So
That's awesome. I went to Texas years ago when my son was stationed in the Air Force. I went there to visit him. It had been the first time that I ever went to Texas. It was San Angelo. So it was like nothing in San Angelo. It's like just an Air Force base and a
yeah.
Marine base. But it really does have its own vibe. It's just a different feel when you get there. The people are different. I thought they were very hospitable. I thought
Hmm.
people w- were acted like I thought people should act. I was just like, this is real. I could live here. I love it here. But I mean, I get what you mean. It really is a unique place. So, um, It doesn't surprise me that that's really impacted you so much. If you can hear it in your music, in the undertones,
Mhm.
wouldn't you agree?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, like, the whole EP that I have is pretty much designed because I miss home so much.
Yeah. Well,
It's
yeah,
very true.
and you're 37, so basically my son's 34, so you could be my daughter, but what's funny about, um, females in particular that I've noticed, because there's so many in my life, is that it's really hard. They're always homesick. They always feel like they're missing something not being home. My
Mhm,
wife and I've been married for quite a while, and she's got kids kind of scattered all over. The ones that are furthest away, she misses constantly. And then she
mhm.
feels guilty about the ones that are closer, because she gets to see them more. It's just like women have this whole emotion with being homesick. I think men are a little more coarse to it. And like I've lived all over the place and I always saw my family, but I'm kind of like, yeah, if I don't get to see everybody for Christmas, I'll have a frozen pizza or something. So I think men are a little different. But um, one thing I want to talk to you about is you kind of stepped away from music for a period to focus on
Mhm.
your family and a medical career that you have. What really brought you back, and what did that moment feel like emotionally when you got back to yourself and your personality?
My dad passed away in 2025, so that was a huge impact. I mean,
Mhm.
it it tore me apart because I think, like, the last song that I was telling him I was writing and everything was about 3 oh my god, it would be, like, 3 years ago now, and that song is the one that's being released June 6th, but I was singing that, whatever, and, he was like, "Well, baby girl, you need to get back into it, blah, blah,
Mm,
blah." Well, unfortunately, he never heard any of it, like,
that's
none
sad.
of the recording, nothing that I did, just what I had sang to him on the phone. So, over the summer, this last summer, I was home trying to help out, take care of his stuff, pack, do a lot of the work that's required when your loved one passes away.
Mhm.
So, I've had multiple people, family, friends, they had we met up and everything, and they're like, "Why aren't you doing music anymore?" Blah, 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 just kinda, like,
Mhm.
antagonized me, and I was like, "Ew, sure, fine, you know what? Like, I will do music. You're right, I need
Double
to."
dare
Like,
me. Go
yeah,
ahead.
exactly, exactly, and, it was funny because I was there for the whole month of June, and then, in July, I got into the studio. I wrote, like, 14 songs within less than a week and was just like, boom, 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 let's get this in. I had one that was called Something Happened to Me, and that was, like, the start of it because I had an
Oh, I
idea.
know the song very well. Yeah.
I had this, like, the song really, really speaks about what I went through. It's
Yeah.
just like I had a spark, and it was just like, "Let's make this happen. I n I'm changing, and I need this for myself." Like,
Yeah.
it needed to happen, you know? So, that was it. That was really, like, what hit me, and I was like, "I have to do this."
Yeah, and I've talked to so many people on this show and in my old previous podcast that really have similar stories where something in life, that maybe they started with music. Like I started touring with a band when I was 14 and I toured for years but then, like around 2020, I think it was 22 when I got married the first time. Uh, we got married, we had kids. I had to have insurance. Back then when I'm traveling around with long hair and zebra skin pants, I didn't have insurance, I didn't have health insurance, and you think, "Well, I need to be a dad, I need to be a husband."
Mhm.
For me, that's how I felt, and it was sort of like, I'm just gonna have to put that aside, it's just foolishness, this playing in bands is just foolishness, but it really wasn't, but I didn't know that at the time, and I didn't
Mhm.
know how bad I was gonna miss it, and I didn't know how much it was gonna impact me because it was so much of my soul and personality. And it was a crazy thing for me because years later in life, my wife bought me. I can't remember what this thing's called. It's like a little kind of round recording device, and it's like a little built-in DAW that kind of does everything. And she's like, "I want you to start doing your music again because we have this piano in your house, and you just need to do it again." And I was like, "I don't want to. It's too much work." But getting back into it was the best thing that ever happened to me. It really did help me find myself again. It's like, oh, that I am a musician. I'm really not bad at it. Maybe somebody will listen. I don't know. And I really don't care if people listen because I love doing it. And I think
Mhm.
when we find ourselves again and we connect with music, I can see it in your face. It's a bond we have with other musicians. You talk about your band and other people that you play music with. It's an uncanny feeling that we all have, isn't it?
Yes, it's like, indescribable how I can relate to so many people that have the same kind of feeling I do when it comes to music.
Yeah.
It's it's beautiful.
You can tell somebody's a musician in a crowded room, I've always said, but um your music in particular is kind of deeply rooted in storytelling and
Mhm.
real life emotion. When you sit down to write, I'm just envisioning you at home. I don't know if you're in your kitchen, you're in the studio, or wherever you right
I'm in
right
this
there
room.
in that room
I'm in
right
this
there.
room, yeah.
So does it? Because I know how I do it, but I'm always intrigued to how everybody else starts a song. Does it start with lyrics or melody or feeling? What's going on with you?
It's definitely a feeling that comes out in words. I write the words down. I mean, it just it and then it starts flowing. I'll, like, have the melody with it, and then I'll have to, like, sit there for a little bit and figure out something on the guitar to make it all flow. Like, Dive Bar was probably one of the funnest ones because sang it in the shower. I just had it come to me.
Yeah.
I sang this freaking melody, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna record that." I recorded it on my phone, and then after I did that, I went to this room and just started writing about it, and I was like,
Mhm.
this is so cool." I love it. I really love that song too because it was one of those moments, like, it did relate a lot to my father. It related to what I was going through, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's a party song." But if they really listen to the lyrics, it's
Mhm.
actually kinda talking about my depression and
Yeah.
how I know I act like this person that is so much fun and like a rock star, but when I get in my emotions and everything, it hits me, and I'm like, I get into those depressive moods. I like to drink. I like to just kinda zone out and not worry about the rest of the world.
Mhm. Well,
And
it's tough, right? There's so many things going on in the world, and we everybody's dealing with so many different things that affect them emotionally, whether it's health issues or just other things going on in the world. And I think music's always been such an escape.
Mhm,
There's a big giant white piano here in my office, and sometimes I'm an energy engineer by trade, so all day long I'm working on complicated projects, and every once in a while I just shut my computer off and because I work from home, and then I'll go over and just I don't know play a Journey song on my piano, and I'm like, oh, I remember what that was like to just be a musician and just have no care, but make sure I don't hit the wrong note, and I think it's just such a I don't know, it's like a reset button every day that you get to pick up your guitar in your case.
mhm.
But you said something funny. I I bet I've got 100 recorded things on my iPhone, right? Maybe not in the
Mhm.
shower, Dina. I'm gonna be honest. I usually am not trying to fumble my phone with wet hands in the shower, but I can be walking through Walmart and I'll be like, "Oh, let me sing this real quietly when nobody's looking." And it
Exactly,
sounds ridiculous, but I know what I'm trying to remember, and then I get home and I'm
exactly.
like, "I'll write that down real quick." So, I have 1,000 started songs in there, but, I think a lot of people are doing that, and what did we do before we had that tool, I'm thinking? How did we
Mhm.
capture that? How many songs did I lose in 30 years because I couldn't record them, real quickly?
Exactly.
Um, do you write and I ask this to almost everybody that comes on the show because I think it's a really neat question and it inspires a little bit of thought. When you write, is it more of personal experiences typically or more from observation? What I mean is, are you writing strictly from your own personal experiences with friends, family members, or things you're seeing going on around you?
So that's a very good question.
Mm.
When I first started music, it was what was going on around me.
Mhm.
I mean, because some of my music was very, political in a sense. It didn't take sides, but it was just, like, kinda like, anti-government conspiracy theory kinda thing.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
as I grew up and kinda, like, got into my own sound and knew who I was, it's been more very in-depth personal. Like,
Mhm.
something happened to me, it was very personal. Dive bar is very personal. Wildflowers is one that I think is very personal, but also very, like, easy to be it's relevant to everyone
Mhm.
else. When the River Rose was obviously something that was it it was personal to me because I grew up in the hill country, but
Mhm.
I felt like it was relevant to a lot of people who can understand what devastation is like. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think, like, the way that I write now is very, very personal.
It's evolved,
Mhm.
basically, what you're saying. Um, was it difficult to be that vulnerable? When you talk about your dad passing away, and just I understand that feeling because my dad passed away in like 2020, and he
Yeah.
was my best friend in the whole world, and my life's forever changed since he passed. But
Mhm.
I also my very first song that I wrote was about him, and will I see him again one day? In
Yeah.
heaven, in retrospect, and so I had a flashback there for a second, but uh, how have listeners connected with you so far with that vulnerability? Did you think they sense that, or you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know they do because they reach out to me quite often and say that I have, like, when I submit songs to a lot of the people on Groover or things like that, I they always talk about how vulnerable I sound. And for me, I wouldn't have even thought that, but
Mhm.
because I'm just being so genuine in myself, that
Mhm.
it's like, oh, am I being vulnerable? Like, is this something that somebody could use against me? Probably. But what do
Yeah.
I care? No, because this is me. This is part
Yeah.
of me. And I want to give that to people because I know what it feels like. And I
Yeah.
know there's other people that do too.
No, I promise you there is, and um, this is something that you've kind of described yourself as. You've described your music as being for the broken and becoming.
Yeah.
And I've heard you use that phrase a lot, but tell the listeners what that phrase means to you and who are you writing that for?
Um, so because of everything that I've gone through, and this doesn't even just like equate to the experience with my father, but like growing up the way that I did, I was going through so much. Keep it light there, okay? Because
Mhm. Yeah,
it's a
no,
lot.
yeah.
What I've been
Sure.
through is quite a bit. And because of that, I am becoming something more.
Mhm.
Because of all of these experiences, I am growing and learning and designing the person that I want to be. And I feel like that is something that a lot of people are trying and struggling to do as well.
Mhm.
Like, it's hard to get to know yourself. At at 28, I like I wasn't even in music.
Mhm.
10 years later, almost, I'm full-fledged trying to do music as well as the medical field, as well as
Mhm.
be a mom and everything, and I'm still becoming something great. I have, a tattoos that I was getting erased, and
Mm.
it says, "Not all who wander are lost." I'm
Yeah.
constantly finding myself is what that means, and I love that. I love that saying as well as,
Mhm.
the broken and becoming because it's true, like, you can
Yeah.
break, but you can become something so much greater, and God willing, you keep trying because the more you try, the better it gets. You will have setbacks.
Yeah.
Everybody does, but the brilliant thing is that greater things are coming along the way as long as you believe in it.
Mhm. That's so funny that you say that because there's so many times, I'm a religious person in my own right. I feel like God is always around me somewhere, watching me, keeping
Mhm.
an eye on me. And sometimes I think my dad, who's passed away, is since he passed away, I feel even more guarded, like I have an angel floating around. But
I love
there's many
that.
times I'm driving down the road in my truck and I'm going to something that I'm really anxious about, or it's going to be a big deal, and I'm just like, "Hey, Jesus, do me a favor for the next 20 minutes, just sit in the passenger side." I'm thinking in my head and just kind of ride this out with me. As long as I know you there and you got my back, I'm going to be fine. And I am.
I
It's
love
just like,
that.
yeah, I just sometimes ask him, I know you're busy with real important stuff, but if you could just ride with me for a minute. For some reason, that'll inspire me or encourage me to do just about anything. There's really nothing I'm
Mhm.
afraid to do when I have that mindset. So, um, now I know that that mission or that evolution is kind of developed over time when you talk about broken and becoming. But do you
Mhm.
think about a specific person more often when you write? Is there someone, and you don't have to say their name if it's a personal or private thing, but is there like a person that's really inspired a lot of your songwriting?
Um, I would
I mean,
say,
I know your dad was a
yeah,
big part, but
my dad for sure. Really, like, a specific person, I wouldn't say that.
yeah.
I would say it's whatever. Because like, if you see some of the songs that come out,
Mhm.
some are about my kids, some
Yeah.
are about, like, just hard times. Uh, the Bluebonnet song is all
Mhm.
about being home, so it's not really strictly about a specific person. Like, Darlin' was written because, my significant other doesn't like to dance, but also, like, growing up and going to, like, the school dances, I always wanted somebody to ask me to dance.
Yeah.
Like, "Why are
Boys
you"
never ask, by the
you
way.
know? Oh, I mean, back in the like, in there's some days, right, when I was single and doing my own thing that I've had
Mhm.
some guys, like, swing dance with me, try to two-step
Mhm.
with me. I'm not the best two-stepper, I realized, because I tried
Right.
that the other day. I was like,
Right.
"Oh my gosh,
There's
I
more
don't
to
remember how
this.
to do it. I don't
Yeah.
remember how to do this."
This is tougher than it looks.
Uh, but, yeah, I mean, like, yes, the I don't think there's, like, a direct person because
Mhm.
all of my songs, even though uh they're really about, like, me and personal events, it could be subjective on each person. So it could
Yeah.
be one person here, it could be another person here, it could be just a feeling I got that I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, oof, let's write
Yeah.
about that," you know?
Well, it's funny
So
that you say, that you mention your kids because I think they're gonna be a constant source as they grow older and you go through things together with them. There's
mhm.
always gonna be a source of inspiration there for
Oh,
writing.
yeah.
Just as much as, we lose people, as we get older and our parents pass away or different family members, we also have these children growing, right? And they're
Mhm.
the next generation, so that gives us it does me. I've got 6 grandkids, so I'm like, I could write a song about each one of these little turds,
Yeah.
and it would be unique to them, because 'cause they're so
Mhm.
independent, but, um, d when you're balancing or you're blending traditional country storytelling with a modern Americana feel, which I kinda feel describes your music a little bit, how do you strike that balance, like, while still sounding uniquely yourself?
So, that's an awesome question. I was trying to figure that one out myself. Like,
Mhm.
when I had my direction, it was a Southern country feel, um, very, like, uh, extroverted because that's how I am, but also just kind of, like, passionate and easy to relate to. That was, like, the goal. So, I when I made sure that whatever producer I was working with, they had this idea and feeling and could embrace what I was trying to get across. Now, like, putting a label on it has always been a hard thing for me, but country was definitely one of the labels.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, you really have done a good job of that, and I wanted to kinda do a follow-up question on that, and
Mhm,
this isn't from left field because you can easily answer this. So, when you think about, where you are in your life, you're a mother, said I think you said you were 37,
mhm,
we'll say it was 36, just maybe um, but so we're in this social media world, right? And
mhm.
I don't like social media personally. I I I like to go on and see what all the artists that I talk to are doing because that's
Yeah.
the only thing that really interests me. I'm really getting into painters now because we've got painters coming on the show, but I like to follow people that follow us. But there's millions of people out there, and you being a country singer and songwriter and performer, you have fans, or you're
Mhm,
trying to bring in more fans.
mhm,
So how do you juggle this social media monster with your time being a mother and working in your medical field and your band and your significant other? How do you fit in time to go like somebody's post? It's like so annoying. Like, right, you got to go like 10 people just to get it done. And it
mhm,
loses its genuine feel. Like, I really will leave a good comment if I generally like something,
mhm.
but it's like a lot, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It is. And like with just saying that with marketing and trying to promote everything that I have going on, it's been a struggle. Like I'll be waiting in my car, which I think I have a video somewhere, where I'm singing my single and my daughter's inside with her tutoring teacher just doing the thing. I mean,
You're
and
multitasking.
I, yeah, I have like maybe an hour a day to do that. And then luckily sometimes in when the kids get home after dinner or something, I can go vegetate and like do the things that I need to do. But getting content in is very hard. I have to take a day off. I have to really organize everything and it's a lot to do for one person. And I've literally made a video where I was like, okay, I'm accepting applications. Please be my manager. Please help
Yeah.
me with social media. Please book me for a show, like
Yeah.
anything. I would love that. But it's the realistic portion of that is if I can't prove to them that I can actually do all of those things, then they're not going to invest their time as well as whatever kind of money or connections that they have.
Yeah.
So
I know
it's
we get people all the time like, "Hey, we'll manage your social media for you," so we'll go like all your posts and make 10 comments a day and, the whole whatever the rule is to grow your
Mhm.
algorithm. And I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. I mean, some strange person's going to be talking to people that think they're talking to me, or it's
Right.
just like it to me. It, I think I try to keep a close knit, and you're one of those people that I've always, I'll go see what Dean is doing. I'll go see what
Mhm.
so and so's doing, and do that. But as you get bigger and you have more guests and you talked about more people, that circle starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger, so it's harder to control. So I
Oh,
think that's
yeah.
why we try to keep our and then again, Dina, we'll have people that we interact with, and they'll come on the show, and we never hear from them again. And I'm like, oh, that was easy. I'll just never go search them out again either. So
Right.
good luck to you. So I think
Mhm.
building that community is beneficial, but it's a two-way street, right? We want if we're going to invest our time in someone else and what they're doing, we expect a little in return. And
Absolutely.
I think that makes sense. And so I try to use that as my level playing field.
Mhm.
Because I'm watching the time here, I don't wanna take your whole day, but I really wanna talk about the upcoming EP, Roots Run Deep. Um, yeah, what do you think you can share with us about that? And
I'm not afraid to share everything with y'all. Every
let's
single
hear it.
song is gonna be a single. Yeah, I know, right? Every song is gonna be a single until I align it with the EP. So the EP is gonna release a week after the last single. So then it's kinda I don't know why I did it like that, but I'm really, really excited about it because there's so many other songs that are gonna be on there, like a
How
sneak
many
peek.
total?
So it's 8. 8
Okay.
songs. I did all 8 songs in Nashville at
Mm,
Off the Row Studios in Franklin, Tennessee. So it's, like,
pause
right outside
pause
of
right there. What was that experience like?
Oh my gosh.
It was pretty
So,
cool?
it was the coolest thing that I've ever experienced.
Mhm.
I will be honest, like, I grew up in Texas. I've been around a lot of musicians. I went to California. I've recorded in so many different places,
Wow.
not limited to the Rugrats studio, but other places that are, like, very, very well known and amazing. To me, Nashville was insane. It
Yeah,
was like
I've heard that.
it's an industry, and they know what they're doing. Every
Yeah,
single musician I saw was or that worked on this album, I mean, I have goosebumps because
yeah.
I was like they listened to my song, which was awful. It was, like, the worst rough draft you could get, and they listened to it and were like, "Okay, boom." Nailed
Yeah.
it out within, like, 20 minutes.
It's
I have
amazing, isn't it?
all 8 songs recorded by a full band in 20 or like, less than an 8-hour span.
Mhm. The first time I
I've
ever went into a studio and worked in that situation, I was like, "How?" I mean, it took me months to write this song and do all these parts, and you guys heard it one time, and you're just like, "Let's roll."
Yeah.
I'm just like, there's a reason why I don't work in Nashville and they do, because there's just a whole 'nother level of greatness, right? It's just like
Yeah.
to people like us, the normals, we're just
Mhm.
blown away when we see that, and every person that I've talked to that comes on that says, "I recorded my first song in Nashville," they're just like, "I was amazed," and they said exactly what you did.
Yeah.
I'm just blown away.
Well, the one thing that I have to admit, and this is like a huge thing for me. The producer, I had mentioned how I wanted everything to sound. I had all the vocals done the next day.
Mm,
And that's because I've done this for so long. I've
yeah,
never seen musicians be able to do some of the stuff that I can do, especially with my
sure.
vocals. I know exactly how I want it to sound. I know exactly how to punch it. I know how to do a lot of
Mm.
things. So the producer was like, Deena, it looks like you've done this before. And I said, "Who does it?" He was
Yeah,
like, "I work with so many people that have no idea how to record. They can perform, but they don't know how to record." And I was like, "Well,
yeah,
this is my life, okay? This is what I've always wanted to do, not
perfect.
just record, but perform and know exactly what I want it to sound like."
Yeah.
So that that was just I was
Well,
like,
when you got
"Ah."
that new music behind you too, like the new improved Nashville sound behind you, it's like, man,
Mhm.
that fires you up even more,
It
right?
did, it did. I was just so thrilled and was just, blown away for sure because just the sound, everything they came up with was perfect. It
You
was
feel like a
perfection.
star. I mean, when you walk out of the
Yeah.
studio, you're like, "Yeah, hey, want my
I was just
autograph?"
like
Or,
yeah,
"I'm here. I'm a big deal now." So,
that's
I
exactly how I felt.
yeah. I remember the first time I recorded a song was back in 1986 in a recording studio, and there was, like, 3 weeks later, it was on the radio, and we were just kids, and we were just like, "We're rock star. We've made it." And it
Yeah.
played for about 3 weeks, and then it was never played again in the history of man, and I was like,
Oh,
"Maybe we didn't
man.
make it." But it was, for us, it was still it was the high one of the high points of my life, so
3 weeks is amazing. I don't think I've
yeah.
ever been played 3 weeks in a row
Yeah. Well, it was a different time, I mean, back then, but no,
and on
that's
the
cool.
radio.
I wanted to ask you a few more things because we're getting short on time, but,
Yeah, no worries.
um, when someone listens to your music for the first time, what do you hope they walk away feeling or understanding about themselves?
Well, like I said earlier, I think the word of the day is vulnerable. And I think that is such a huge thing for anybody to feel it all, because we're in a world that is completely filled with so many subjective emotions and you can feel kind of like you don't want to feel anything cuz it's scary. It's a scary time some day, like some days are you're just like so worried about everything else, but you should be feeling it. You should be feeling the love, feeling emotions, feeling sad, feeling happy. Like all those things actually matter and I hope that you can feel that with the music that I've created.
Dina, here's my last question for you. What does success look like for you at this stage in your career?
You know, back in the day, I used to think success was like having a stadium filled. Right now, it's just having people listening and wanting to be a part of this journey with me. I think like I feel successful already, even though I haven't played with a full band on stage. I hope that happens, and I would be so happy to open for other bands and to go on tour and things like that. That is absolutely successful to me. But I think if I can make somebody feel something, I've already succeeded.
That's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, Deena Maddox. Deena, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast.
Our pleasure.
Thanks for listening to Inside the Creative Mind with Brian Jones. Keep exploring, keep creating, and don't forget to tune in for the next 30 minutes of inspiration streaming on all platforms. Your next spark of creativity is just a play button away.